Good morning, call-in user 1. Do you have any general public comment or multiple item comment today, or both?
General public comment, please.
Thank you. Good morning to all attendees joining us in the hearing room. Good morning to city staff, commissioners. If there are any members of the public who wish to offer commentary on any agenda items, please find that speaker cards are located in the back of the room along with agendas. Please bring the speaker cards to the facilitator's seat. Make sure it has agenda and item number you are speaking on. Thank you. President Kang, would you like to start recording now?
Yes, please. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for Friday, March 6, 2026. Presiding officer, if you could take roll and establish quorum for us.
Okay, yes, I would be establishing quorum, starting with you, President Kang, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner Mitchell, Commissioner Cardenas are present. We also have Ms. Attorney Representative, Ms. Darrell, and I am Sandy Reyes with the Board of Public Works.
Thank you very much. Before we begin public comment, we do have a quick presentation, a retirement certificate presentation for Octavio, wastewater conveyance supervisor from the Bureau of Sanitation for 34 years of service. Are we ready for that presentation this morning? All right.
It's not where I want to go.
Please come up. And please speak directly into the mic. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Make
I'm
sure
gonna
to turn it on as
or
well.
turn it
Oh, that
down.
would help.
There's a
So
little
what I was saying,
button
I'm a hypocrite
at the
too.
top.
I've been
Yes.
involved in drama too. I've spoken up about things too. It's just I'm trying not to anymore. I'm trying to do better. So it's just something I'm imposing.
Just one moment, please.
Audio test, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just speak real loud and clear into the mic.
I got it loud and clear. Okay. Okay. Good morning. Today, we honor a man whose work ethic, character, and dedication set a standard few could match. Octavio Idiza, known to all of us as Gus. For more than 34 years, Gus served the city of Los Angeles with quiet excellence, not for recognition, not for praise, but because that's simply who he is. Every day he showed up ready to work, ready to help, and ready to make the system and the people around him better. Many of us know Gus's day didn't start when he walked through the door. It began long before that, with a 2-hour drive just to get here. Yet, despite the long road, he was always early, always prepared, always professional. That kind of commitment says everything about the man. His knowledge of the Clearwater conveyance system is extraordinary. But what truly defines him is the way he shared that knowledge and lifted those and carried those along with him. A career like that isn't measured only in years, it's measured in example for the lead. A career like that isn't measured in years, it's measured in the example you leave behind. And Gus leaves behind an example of dedication, integrity, and pride in city service that will continue to inspire the department for years to come. So today, we say thank you, not just for the 34 years, but for the standard you set and the legacy you leave. Gus, in the simplest, truest words we can say, you are simply the best.
Gus and or other members of sanitation, would you like to provide remarks?
Yes. So, good morning, commissioners and other officials. My name is Kwesi Beko, Division Manager for the Clean Water Conveyance Division. I'm here to celebrate Mr. Octavio, to thank him and to congratulate him for the 34 years of dedicated service. He comes to work every day, brings his best ideas. No work is too big or too small for him. Mr. Octavio is a very strong stickler for insisting on things done right. And in the time that I have known him, probably about 6, 7 years now, I have nothing but respect and admiration for him in the way he carries on with his work, the way that he mentors people, and he truly embodies all what you want from a civil servant. So for me, I say, Mr. Octavio, thank you very much. You deserve it, and enjoy your retirement. The city thanks you as well, and the citizens thank you as well for all the good work. Thank you.
Would you like to provide remarks?
I'm not much of a speaker. I mean, more of a worker, but it was an adventure. It was a pleasure. I mean, you guys gave me an opportunity. I just do what everybody else is supposed to be doing. I'm a normal guy. You know, I don't ask for much. You know, as long as I'm able to put on the table for my family, put a roof on my head, that's good enough. Drive doesn't matter. You know, I drive 2 hours, but that's fine. You know, I'm here. I took 2 hours to come down here. You know, and I just appreciate everything that was ever presented for me. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. So I want to ask our fellow commissioners to provide brief remarks. Why don't we have President Pro Tem Grant kick us off?
Thank you for your service. I think earlier it was remarked that your contributions to the city is not measured in years, but in the example. And I think that's really true. The example and the respect, that's the true measure of a work life. And what you've done has been remarkable and really is, it's a privilege, I think, for all of us to extend this recognition and to thank you for your service.
Thank you. Commissioner Mitchell.
Thank you for your service to the city of Los Angeles. I was very impressed with what your supervisor said about you taking that 2-hour commute to be on time, very professional and always prepared. And it also is indicative of so many employees that we've seen through this process. So we want you to enjoy your retirement and know that you've set a standard and left a legacy of which you should be very proud of, the accomplishments. Enjoy your family, enjoy your retirement, and come back and see us every now and then. Thank you.
Commissioner Cardenas.
Yes, Octavio, felicidades. Congratulations on 34 years with the city. As you said, you're not about talking, you're about doing, and I appreciate that very much. And I'm sure that your coworkers appreciated that as well. So enjoy this next chapter of your life. And this part's done. Now you can go and enjoy the rest. Congratulations.
Thank you. Vice President Chavez.
For over 3 decades, you did this work. You kept our systems running, and it was work that most of us never see, but we all, each and every one of us, depends on. And for that, we are grateful for all the work that you did, and the work that you've given to the Bureau, to your colleagues, and to the communities we serve. So on behalf of the board and the city of Los Angeles, thank you.
Congratulations. So on behalf of the board, I wanted to present you a certificate. Thank you so much for 34 amazing years here at the city of Los Angeles. Thank you so much. It's always a bittersweet moment for all of us. So thank you, thank you. We're going to ask our sanitation family to join us in the back with where the flag, as well as our commissioners, will take a brief recess to take some photos. The time now is 10:14 a.m. All right, Ms. Reyes, if you want to reestablish quorum for us.
Hi, we are back. Reestablishing quorum. President Kang, Vice President Chavez, Commissioner Mitchell, President Pro Tem Grant, and Commissioner Cardenas. We have quorum, and City Attorney, Ms. Darrell.
Thank you very much. So we will now start with our general public comment, which is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items, and will be provided up to 1 minute per person, up to a cumulative total of 10 minutes for the general public comment segment of each regular meeting. Testimony shall be limited in content to subject matters which are within the jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works. The board may not take any action on any matters discussed during the public comment period. We do not have any in-person speakers, so we'll transition to our virtual platform.
Okay, our first speaker is Georgina. Georgina, you will have 1 minute for general public comment. Please unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I want to know why you think it's acceptable to have a street named after a cult leader. We don't have a Jesus Christ way, and he's not guilty of all the crimes that L. Ron Hubbard is. We don't have a Charles Manson way. Why do we have an L. Ron Hubbard way? Why do we have a street named after a man guilty of human trafficking and destroying so many lives, enslaving children, abusing children, and yet we have a street named after him? He was guilty of so many crimes, and yet we have a street named after him. So many people are suffering to this day from his actions, and yet we honor him. We honor him with a street named after him. Change it back to North Burindo. It needs to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgina. We have Jennifer. Jennifer Spencer, please unmute yourself.
Good morning, board members. I am again calling in asking you to change the name of L. Ron Hubbard Way back to Berendo Street. Each week I listen to callers like Laura Anderson, a survivor of Scientology's physically and mentally abusive practices, asking you to change the name back to Berendo Street. The callers describe the extreme torture they went through from birth. For example, Jamie Mustard, who spoke to you last week, and were forced to endure until they were old enough to leave on their own. Other callers talk about how no other streets are named after cult leaders such as Charles Manson or even religious icons such as Jesus. I ask you to please take action on this matter. I turn back my time.
Thank you, Jennifer. We have Gigi. Gigi, will you please unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So they touched on changing the name back to North Berendo. I'm going to go even further. I want you guys to rip those bricks out of that road and repave it. Those bricks were laid in part by slave labor, by child labor, and they should not be there. Also, there should not be no parking enforced on there. After over a year later, I still cannot find any documentation from the city that there is legitimately no parking zoned for that area. So why are there fake signs up there and red curbs when there's no proof of it? So put in metered parking, rip those bricks up, and again, change the name back to North Berendo. I yield my time.
Thank you. Next, we have Audit LA. Audit LA, will you please unmute yourself?
Yes, good morning. I've been talking about their underpaid uh, security guards, patrolling, intimidating anyone coming up and down the street. I also want to add, how they're horrible neighbors, is that every inch of their compounds are microphones and have surveillance cameras, including like plate readers. Okay, so if you would just want to take a nice stroll down the street, you think and I know there's cameras everywhere, and I know there's no expectation of privacy, but it's overkill. Like every few inch, there's like probably 100 cameras in my probably around just Big Blue. Everything is picked up, and they use it to snitch on everything. Like you make sure you don't talk about anything important going down the street. I mean, most places, yes, they may have a camera and it's visual. It's not all microphoned. They microphone every conversation, and then they use it to snitch. I have proof that they were snitching on a weed shop because they were having a party next
Thank
door,
you,
and they
that's
wanted to
time.
know if it was permitted.
Next, we have Nora. Nora, will you please unmute yourself?
Sorry, that took me a second to get that back up. Yes, thank you. I want to echo all the statements about L. Ron Hubbard Way. I was one of the slave laborers who laid those bricks. I'm not a licensed or trained mason. And exactly what Audit LA said. I want to dive into the wages here just a tiny bit real quick. The fake Space Navy slaves are paid $50 a week, then minus taxes, which comes out to be $47.32, which is what I was paid. And you're going to have a crisis on your hands right now because every single one of those people does not have health care. They use ATP for every single emergency room visit, which is the only place they go when they are severely ill. And most of those people have been working there now 50 plus years. They have no retirement. They have no IRA. They have no 401k. You are going to have a crisis of thousands of elderly people crushing your system within the
Thank
next
you.
5
That's
years.
time. President Kang, at this time, I do see 3 hands raised for general public comment. Would you like me to ask?
Yes, please.
Hello, caller Laura FM. Would you like to offer general public comment?
Yes, general public comment and also all items as well, please.
Okay, you will have 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to very much echo again what everybody just called, the last 4 callers about Scientology and revoking their permit and bringing even onto the board, giving it an option to be on the board. Again, we've been calling him for 2 years. If you could please revoke L. Ron Hubbard Way's permit back to North Berendo Street. This is a huge issue because Scientology is acting as a gang. And so one of their major things is by keeping that name, L. Ron Hubbard, you're constantly reminding all of us that were born and raised in the cult of Scientology's abusive slave organization. You're reminding us that they're still getting away with this. And this is them laughing in our faces. This is L. Ron Hubbard's name being put on a street when he's a freaking convicted felon, getting away with all kinds of mental abuse and human abuse of like for 70, 80 plus years now. So please revoke that permit, put it back to North Berendo Street, and please stop giving Scientology any permits whatsoever, as they just use them for recruitment tactics and destroying and trafficking human.
Thank you, Laura. That's time. Sandra, would you like to offer general public comment or multiple item comment?
Oh, thank you. I just unmuted. Thank you very much. Yes, general public comment, please.
Go ahead.
Okay. I ditto every single comment, but I wanted to read a couple of things to you. This is out of the book Dianetics that you see people trying to promote around the city. A 7-year-old girl who shudders because a man kisses her is not computing. She is reacting to an engram. At 7, she should see nothing wrong with a kiss, not even a passionate one. That is what they teach in Scientology. The other one is to do with the sexual pervert known as the homosexual, lesbian, sexual sadist. It's actually quite ill physically, but also far from normal and extremely dangerous to society. The level of the pervert, the hypocrite, the turncoat, such people should be taken from society as rapidly as possible and uniformly institutionalized. That is what L. Ron Hubbard preached while sexually abusing, physically, mentally, small children and using those people as slave labor. Revoke that permit. Take up the bricks. I yield back my time.
Thank you. Caller ending in 880. Would you like to offer general public comment at this time?
You are unmuted. You hear me? I'm doing general public comment.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to reiterate everything that everybody said about changing the name to North Berendo Way. We don't have a James Jones Boulevard, the guy that made people drink Kool-Aid. Shame on you, Keith Mose, for taking down the permit information on the website so that the permits it can be verified during events. And I want to expand on what Sandra said. What they're talking about with the homosexual situation was done during the Holocaust, where they actually put them in camps. And sometimes they euthanized people that were considered unworthy of society. Now, that's what you're letting in your city, and you allowed the babies to be neglected and sit in their poopy diapers all week and getting failure to thrive. Shame on you. Bye.
President Kang, that's it for general public comment.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close general public comment portion of today's meeting and move on to multiple agenda item public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment period for up to a minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item, and please identify the items that you will speak on when you are called. We do not have any in-person speakers, so we'll transition to our virtual platform.
Good morning, Georgina. Will you please go ahead and unmute yourself for multiple item comment? Please tell us the item you're speaking on.
Well, there's only one item today, but I'm going to start with the minutes. The minutes need to reflect the fact that we're begging you to change the name away from a convicted cult leader to what it used to be, North Burindo. It needs to be changed. The minutes need to be changed. The minutes need to reflect the concerns of the people. Why aren't these being included? The fact that your YouTube channel has every video titled the exact same is not understandable to me. How is anyone supposed to research anything when you have every video titled the exact same? Thousands of videos, 2 to 3 meetings a week, and each week, each meeting, each month, each year, going back years, all titled exactly the same. I yield back my time. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgina. Next, we have Gigi. Please tell us the item you're speaking on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with the minutes. I feel like we've said this to you thousands of times at this point, but you guys need to fix the minutes. You need to include what's being talked about in the public comment. You can be brief about it. You don't have to, do a full transcript or anything, but you need to have something about what is being brought to you. Okay, you muted me. Can I get some time back for that? Like, I don't know why you muted me, but like I said, you guys say that the public comment's been received, but what happens when it's received? What do you do with it? There's no signs that you're really doing anything about our concerns. So the least you could do is put it and reflect it in the public comment, in the minutes. Now for the neighborhood council, since I've been speaking at this meeting, I do not remember a single time that the neighborhood council has had time to do their comment, except for when they came in on their own time as their own person, because they do not have enough time to even know about like things like these permits that you are approving and different things that are happening. The neighborhood councils need to be more involved in public works. And with that, I yield my time.
Thank you, Gigi, and sorry about that. We do have Audit LA now. Audit LA, will you please unmute yourself?
Yes, I would like to start with the Film LA update. This is, I would like to have updated.
So sorry, Audit LA, can you please unmute yourself?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, yes. I would like to start off with item 2, Film LA updates, because as we know, Scientology is prolific in getting these permits. And I don't know if Film LA or the Public Works is really aware, I'm trying to make you aware, that they do use Sea Org members, because I know Jennifer Krosskoff is, runs some of these sites, and she's definitely a Sea Org member making $47 a week if she performs above and beyond. And this is a city that is built on unions, especially when the films, it's unions. And if it's not union, there's still certain standards. Is anyone making sure that all their permits, that their people are being paid the fair union or scale or the non-scale wages, and that they have opportunities to join the union, and or not? Or are we just turning a blind eye because it's Scientology? Because Laurie Anderson could speak more, I'm sure, on when she came across a film where they were like working like 5 hours, making their people stand still, no breaks, no going to the bathroom. One lady was in tears. They could not move. That doesn't sound like filming to me. They couldn't eat, they couldn't drink, they couldn't go to the bathroom, no breaks. They couldn't even move. They had to stay frozen like popsicle people. Okay. And, and it's ridiculous. And I hope you look into it. And I hope you don't look the other way because, it has nothing to do with religion. This is dealing with labor. Okay. Because they have a labor force and they are paid stipends for their religious and part of it. But making propaganda films or whatever they're doing, that's not religious. That is labor. When they're working on the streets, it's labor. So I am begging you, Film LA, Public Works, to look into it. We don't want people not getting paid properly. We don't want this level of labor abuse and labor trafficking. They bring people in on their R1 visas for religious. They're only allowed to do religious work for that, not allowed to do labor. And so it's very important. So, and as far as the minutes are concerned, I really hope that this stuff will eventually be put on the minutes. There's genuine concerns, and none of it should be, especially like, you know, what Sandra was saying. You know, she read from you from the Book of Dianetics, horrific stuff that I would never, and I don't stand by it. When I see them selling Dianetics, and, you know, like I will intervene to shut it down because they're selling books that are, and why is nobody, you know, upset with that with that verbiage in a book? It's pedophilia.
Thank you,
And
Audit
it's,
LA. That's
thank you.
time. Next, we have Nora. Nora, will you please tell us the agenda items you're speaking on?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Wonderful. I'm going to speak on the minutes and agenda item 2, the Film LA situation. In regards to the minutes, I want to echo what Gigi said earlier. It would be of great service to the public and just the historical record if the minutes reflected every single person's, you know, thing that you called in about and spoke about, because I understand that you guys are not going to take action on things that people are calling about. You make that very clear. But it is important for the historical record for people to see how long people have brought up things like changing the name back of L. Ron Hubbard Way back to Berendo, and addressing the fact that Film LA was formed to make it easier for production companies to come in and utilize the wonderful city of Los Angeles as a canvas for their art. Scientology abuses that by usurping the rules there to allow their slave labor force to not get paid union wages, to get unending permits for propaganda films that are just indoctrination for children and the people who are stuck in this cult for a lifetime, to be further indoctrinated in principles just that Sandra read earlier about children not being children, and that if there is a pedophile in their midst, then it's their fault that they get abused. And in fact, it's not abuse, and that they should be okay with it unless they have crimes from this lifetime or other lifetimes. You guys, via all of these little loopholes that Scientology has found in all of their safe pointing and their decades of donations to every single board, police, sheriff, every council that they can find to give money to, have allowed them to continue their decades-long abuse of the elderly and children. And as I said earlier, there are people inside that Big Blue, inside Celebrity Center, inside of all of their buildings on Hollywood Boulevard that are now reaching their 70s and 80s. There
Thank you,
is
Nora.
no retirement program.
That's time. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next, we have Laura FM. Laura FM, can you please go ahead and unmute yourself and tell us what items you'll be speaking on?
Hi, good morning. I'm going to talk about the minutes and Film LA number 2, or I guess, yeah. Agenda item
Okay,
number 2.
go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. I want to echo again what everybody's been talking about, what we call in about, where Scientology's #1 tactics using Film LA and the event permits to literally promote and recruit false fucking propaganda that is then used to recruit and get people in from other countries and human traffic people into the C organization, which we all know by now is an indentured human trafficking, child abusing organization hiding behind a religion. Film LA has every right to say no to a permit that Scientology just says, oh, it's a Scientology permit. Oh, it's a Dianetics permit. I gave you guys booklets specifically for this reason. When there's any logo that has anything to do with Film LA, films, anything having to do with filming on LA streets, like they did in the middle of 5 a.m. in downtown on 6th Street, about 4 or 5 months ago, filming 5 a.m., using people to make an advertisement to say that Scientology's technology is so amazing. This should be banned. This is Scientology literally using LA's beautiful city and LA's time and money and people to have indentured servants be in this commercial to advertise for more human trafficking. This needs to be clarified. When Film LA is asking and saying that Scientology needs a permit for a street, what is it for? Is it really going to help the city, or is this more human trafficking PR bullshit? Because you guys have a big part of this. There's a reason that Public Works thinks they can't do anything about it that much, but you can. You are the ones that can actually put the ethics with this whole situation in and tell Scientology, no, you guys have been falsely lying to the
Thank
city
you, Laura.
about this
That's
for too
time.
long.
President Kang, I see one more person with their hand up. Would you like to take?
Yes, please.
Okay, caller ending caller in user 1. Will you please unmute yourself and tell us what agenda items you're speaking on?
I was not called. Would you be kind enough to allow me 1 minute general public comment?
Speaker, the general public comment has closed. You only have multiple, so please let us know which items you would like to speak on.
I had asked to speak for general public comment, but I was not called. I hope you will take into consideration that.
The caller is correct, President Kang.
Thank you. Thank you for that correction. So caller, although we have closed general public comment, our presiding officer, it's her first day, so we want to welcome Sandy. So apologies for that minor mistake. So I'll reopen general public comments, so you have 1 minute.
Thank you. As a resident of the city of Los Angeles, I received a notification of an asphalt slurry seal for my residential street. In this multicultural city that Los Angeles praises it to be, I'm having a hard time believing that the city of Los Angeles is paying, using taxpayer funds, a contractor without including community engagement instructions. This handout that was received is English only. I know my street alone has a minimum of 5 different other cultures. Second, while my street is not perfect, I have a hard time with the optics of this after these recent serious rains, that my street is going to get slurry sealed when all the major thoroughfares leading to my residential street are riddled with potholes and other road work denigration. I hope that you will, and the city of Los Angeles departments that deal with these issues will take my comments into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. President Kang, that concludes general public comment and multiple item comment.
Thank you very much. With that, I will close both general public comment and multiple general public comment and move forward with the approval of minutes for Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. Commissioners, is there a first and a second?
So move.
Second.
First by President Pro Tem Grant, seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
We'll tabulate the votes on approval of minutes. We will begin with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
Thank you. The minutes are all ayes. The minutes are approved.
Thank you very much. Moving on to our agenda item number 1, which is on consent. I'll move. Is there a second?
So, second.
Seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Okay, roll call for item 1. President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
Okay, all ayes. This item moves forward forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 2, which is our quarterly report from Film LA. So I want to invite our Film LA leadership to the podium for their presentation.
Good morning, President King and honorable commissioners. My name is Denise Gutches. I'm the CEO for Film LA.
Good morning, honorable commissioners. I'm Donna Washington, VP of External Affairs.
And a lot of other things she does. So we're getting ready to put the presentation up here. We're going to keep this brief so we can open it up for questions. You know, we appreciate the opportunity to have these quarterly updates so that you understand what we're doing. As you know, we do give you quarterly reports to President Kang, and we want to make sure that we're fully transparent as an organization and in terms of the work we're doing and the numbers. So in our presentation, we'll go over a brief overview of our mission. I believe you all know that. Most organizations or people think that we're just a permitting agency, but we do a lot more. You know, we want to enhance and streamline the film permitting or the process here for content creators and broader community because it's about keeping the economy thriving here in Los Angeles is really what it's about. So can you see the slides now? Great. You want to move to the next slide? I can do that for you. How's that? And so we're going to do a really brief update. I know that, oops, why did it do that? The slide's not showing the core services. Johnny, you want to talk about core services
Sure.
even though they're not there?
Here you go. Yeah, just real quickly about our core services and just a brief recap. We provide fast film permit coordination, free production planning services to our industry clients to help filmmakers understand neighborhood logistics and filming restrictions. We have a comprehensive community relations that includes community notification for all locations we coordinate. Also, at the request of the city, we will assign Film LA monitors for sensitive filming locations. We have a proactive community outreach team that goes out to inform, to answer questions, and to solve problems in our, for our constituent base. Regarding our major initiatives, we work to attract and retain the industry by providing support to the industry by a one-stop shop. I know that you guys know that you're one of our biggest clients, but obviously we serve the county and 14 other cities. We streamline the permitting process. We have production planning. We have community relations, and we are available 24/7 for after-hours emergencies. On industry expertise, we have a deep knowledge and understanding of industry needs and hands-on experience in dealing with challenges. On our issue advocacy, we raise awareness about specific policy issues that negatively impact the industry and the communities in which they film.
Thank you, Donna. I think we go to the next slide. Donna's going to do a lot of talking. I'll do the talking at the end, just so you know. So you're tired of me hearing me.
Just real quickly, this slide. So this is a graph showing our Q1 and Q2 numbers. While they're disappointing, don't despair. The California Film Tax Credit has arrived. Just for context, the California Film Commission, a program started last July. 119 projects have been awarded the incentive. Most recently, in early December, 28 projects were also awarded credits. So all these projects have 180 days to start production after receiving the incentive. So we are now just starting to see production come back, which is really good. This slide represents, so we take all the incoming calls, right, for everything from information, complaints, what have you. This slide represents the call volume and what it was from October to December. Our office received 207 calls. Out of that, 126 were for complaints. 18 were requests for information, and 55 were to report unpermitted filming.
And just to clarify, the 207 were community calls, not all the other calls that we received. I don't know if you can read all these these numbers, if you can read all these numbers, but I'm going to give you a brief overview. So as you can see, Q1, we collected roughly $890,000 of fees on behalf of the city. Service fees represent personnel costs. Q2 went up much higher, which was a good thing, and that usually represents the level of activity on filming, on location filming. More personnel required based on the activities or the locations, fire, DOT, etc. Notifications, you will note that, because I noted this when I looked at these numbers, that the number of notifications for both quarters looks exactly the same. However, when we looked at the month-to-month data, it is actually different. It's because it just happened to be coincidence. The revenue collected is also different because the notifications required are based on radius. So if you have exceptional activity, you have a broader radius, so you pay a little bit more. So that's why the fees range, even though the number of notifications are the same. On permit volume, as you can see, this is for all of our jurisdictions. We were running about very similar in both quarters. We're starting to see a little uptick now based on what Donna was talking about in terms of the tax credit projects. And we're getting a lot more inquiries about production and what what we can do to support them. Writers, if you're not familiar with what a writer is, it's really a change fee. So if you have applied for a permit, we've completed it, and you came back and said, I need to change the dates or the locations, et cetera, that's what that fee is for us to do that work. And then finally, on refunds, you will note that from Q1 to Q2, there was a decline. That's primarily because Los Angeles LAFD has struggled with giving us final charges so that we can do that final refund. Fortunately, what we know now is that they have a new staff person that is helping them to catch up on those final charges. So I know that by the end of this quarter, we'll see more refunds going out the door. And we like this to happen because we have to hold on to that money, and we get lots of calls when we're not able to refund those dollars. So moving on to projects that we're working on, very excited about the low impact permit pilot. We talked about this the last time we met with you. We've made a lot of headway working with President King as the film liaison and Dan and LAPD, LAFD, Rec and Parks, as well as having focus group discussions with small independent filmmakers to get feedback. Excuse me. So we're getting ready to launch something by the end of this month. And right now, our IT team and our business team is working on making sure that we can incorporate it into our permitting system. So that's what we're working on. It's a huge cost to us, I would say, on the technology side. So we're eager for this to be a successful program because of the investments we're all making in it. Excuse me. The key program features basically are limited to 30 cast and crew, 3 filming days, 3 shoot days. They're limited locations because of safety issues, because what we want it to be low impact so that fire doesn't have to have personnel on site. So there are also limited activities and types of equipment, just so it's not impacting the community. Large equipment, large trucks, et cetera, is a community impact. We're trying to keep this low impact for everyone. So it takes a village for something like this, and we've gone very far. We don't want to duplicate our efforts here either, because we know that we have Nazarian's motion on the micro shoot, the concierge, Blumenfield has his verticals motion. So this is a different tier. So we will be coordinating efforts with all to make sure that we look at those tiers and how they can be rolled out effectively. And then finally, there were questions last time about the notification optimization project. Because the low impact permit project became the highest priority, we had to put that as a lower priority. We have limited staffing to incorporate this stuff, but we still have it on our priority list. Probably won't be till this fall. Apologize. And then with that, I'm going to turn it over to Donna.
Just real quickly, the last item. So neighborhood special conditions, just for context, when we were first formed 30 years ago, there were over 125 special condition areas. Currently, there are 60 that that are in direct relation to the city. We've been working in collaboration with the Permit Authority, which is LAPD, to review, reaffirm, and to retire existing conditions that no longer apply. 15 have been retired recently, with more in the queue. We're just waiting for recommendations as to whether or not those can go forward. And there are 2 sets of codified conditions that need to go through City Council to be decodified. And those are the Arts District and the Echo Park and Elysian Park conditions. With that,
We'll open it up for questions.
Thank you very much. But Denise and Donna, thank you so much. But before we take questions, I did want to recognize Dan Halden, who's serving as our senior advisor on film and television as well. So, Mr. Halden, did you want to make any brief remarks?
Thank you, President Kang. Hi, Commissioners. Thank you. I'll just say thank you very much to Film LA for a lot of meetings, a lot of discussions, a lot of collaborative work. We've had a great working relationship and working also with a lot of the stakeholders in the industry as well. So to anyone who's listening, I want to thank those folks. We've made a number of positive steps forward thus far in the execution of Executive Directive 11, also Executive Directive 8, but specifically ED 11, and then a lot of more work to come with the motions that passed this week through City Council, more coming down the pike. And so thank you very much, and to President Kang especially.
Thank you very much. With that, we'll take, excuse me, questions from the board, starting with President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you for the report, especially the sort of micro aspects of where you're moving. The 2 questions I had really is a larger perspective of the 4,300, 4,600 permits. Do you have a breakdown in terms of the size of each of those, of the crews, the operations, like less than 5 or a greater, you know?
We have that data if you want.
What is the data showing you in terms of micro crews, small crews versus regular enterprise endeavors?
I don't have the specific data
Right, but
in
roughly.
hand, but I can provide that. But I will tell you that for the 30 cast and crew on the low impact permit represents about 30% of our current permit volume, which is, I'm going to say, looking at the numbers, 3,000 of the permits represent those types of size of cast and crew. But we can break it down for you, and we can provide that data.
And then secondly, and I don't know if you have any way of knowing this, do we have a sense in terms of how many filming operations are not permitted, that are sort of, you know, illicit?
It's a tough question to answer because we do get reports of unpermitted filming. You saw on the slide that, you know, I think we've had 55 in the last quarter. But we don't know what we don't know. So if it's not reported, we don't know. What we're hoping is through all these efforts to bring in these tiers of permits, productions, you know, small independent productions will come forward and do it legally.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from the commissioners? Vice President Chavez.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. I mean, I think the sort of most impactful statistic I saw was just the precipitous decline of the last reported quarter in terms of permits. And it's, you know, not good, obviously. I mean, I think it wouldn't be an understatement to call it a catastrophic decline. And I know you said, but that's before the tax credit took effect. So I'm just curious to see, you know, what success looks like for the next reporting period And do we expect there to be, what are your expectations and how are you tracking them so that we can see how we are capturing in the LA market that California tax credit?
So we do provide a weekly report to President King that shows the number of shoot days. So we've been seeing an uptick over the last month. So by the end of this quarter, we expect, we might, it depends on the type of production. Features are up, television is down. Am I correct about that? Yes, television down. I'm trying to remember all the numbers here. And commercials are also down a little bit. Features are up because of the projects that receive the tax credit. So we'll continue to provide that data so that you can see that. It's very challenging for us to project because even though many projects were awarded the tax credit, we don't know when they're going to go on location or if, because they might stay on sound stages.
Mm-hmm.
And we're working with the California Film Commission to understand that better so we can report out on that. Our research department is doing that work right now.
So do you have does FilmLA have a dashboard currently that has where you're tracking the tax credit impact on LA production? Is that something you guys have the ability to do?
We don't have that right now, but there's work that we're trying to work with California Film Commission does that.
Are you coordinating with them just to ensure if we're capturing that, I think the goal here is capturing the maximum benefit, squeeze all the juice out of that line because we are desperate to do it. So, and then another thing is how are you coordinating with on the job front, just capturing the data on jobs? Are you working with the unions to get the job numbers?
That's not something that we do currently because we're not an economic organization, but we are speaking with other organizations on how we can partner, like with LAEDC, et cetera, and the county. So we're looking to see how we can partner. Just to be very clear, as we have very limited resources and staffing, so that the more we can partner with other organizations who do this and we can report out, that's what we're focusing on right now.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the limits of what FilmLA can do, but again, you're the ones who have that ground level view where you can kind of see everyone. You know who all the right folks are to talk to. I think in order to create an accurate picture where you can present of what beyond just the permit volume, what are the economic impact metrics that we can track as a city to demonstrate that what we're doing is effective. And to me, the first thing is local employment numbers, particularly those union jobs. And since we know who all our friends are that are doing that, can we reach out to them? Can you talk to them and say, hey, are you guys tracking this information? Can you share that with us so that we can present it as part of a larger picture?
It's a very good question, Commissioner Chavez. And yes, we do have board members who are on IATSE and, Local 399, LIUNA. So we capture some information from them, like members who are in districts, so we can let our council members know.
Mm-hmm.
But we will do more in that fashion as you asked about.
I think it's really important to just think beyond the current crisis because, we're constantly going from crisis to crisis, but at the same time, we got to walk and chew gum at the same time. And I think we have to do that coordination now, track that data now, because you want to be able to make the case and have those numbers for the next go round, the next opportunities for growth, for investment, for tax credits. In fact, to make the economic case at the city level, because there's economic decisions that need to happen as part of the budget in terms of what resources we're allocating. And if you can show that there is a direct nexus to jobs, employment, additional tax-based revenue being created, like that's what we need in order to make the case locally, because, you know, it's without that information, it's just speculation and conjecture, which we've relied on for a long time, but it doesn't work for us anymore because there are competing priorities. So I think that would just be really helpful, that coordination that you guys can help lead on, and just be that collector of information would be really important.
And the one thing that I didn't mention is through our new foundation at our 501c3, we're working on a public education campaign right now, coordinating with the city and the county. So part of that campaign will include this information. We did a campaign back in 2013, 2011 to 2013, FilmWorks. Most people didn't know that it was FilmLA who did it, but all that data that you're talking about and the stories, et cetera, was incorporated. So we'll be weaving in that same approach.
Thank you. And then Commissioner Mitchell.
Thank you for your report. Notice the data for shoot days for 2024 still exceed in the first and second quarters than for 2025. What do you attribute the lower amount for 2025?
We just saw a complete slowdown in production in 2025. It was the second worst year on record since 2020 for us, 30 years. And everybody, that's why we're hearing such an outcry of pain from people who are out of work and the industry shifting for a variety of reasons. And so the work that the city is doing, the county, et cetera, the efforts that we're making to making filming more accessible, affordable here is so critical, because 2025 was a devastating year for everyone.
So have you analyzed the reason for the drop in filming in 2025 for the first and second quarters from 2024 for the same period?
There's a whole variety of causes or reasons for this happening. I would say, global filming, tax incentives. Our tax incentive really didn't go into effect until July 1, 2025, and then the tax credits awarded didn't happen until August. So there was a lag in time there. There's a lot of changes in the industry in terms of streaming, television production. Television slots are much lower. They're not filming as many episodes. The broader industry is contracting in different ways and changing. We're seeing more verticals, more micro shoots, et cetera, which are not pulling permits per se. So, the consumer is consuming different types of creative storytelling. And so we all have to really adjust and think about how we make it happen here in a different way, because this is on location filming, could shift even more because of technology as well.
Thank you.
And Commissioner, just to add to what Denise and Donna have presented, as you know, as Dan also mentioned earlier, Mayor's Executive Directive 11 is in effect. So there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes that here at the city, in partnership with Film LA, Stan LA, and our stakeholders, MPA and others, we're really trying to lower barriers and cost and times, expedite as much as possible. So yesterday, as many of you have seen with Mayor Bass, we've announced that Griffith Observatory fees up to 70% have been slashed. Central Library, which has been closed to filming for over 10 years, is now open as of March 1, as well as many other things in the works, and especially want to highlight the low impact permit that we're going to be seeing hopefully in the next couple of weeks. And that in itself, Film LA has taken a bold step in making that investment, so there's no fiscal impact to the city. They're actually going to be absorbing a tremendous amount of cost so that we create a more equitable environment for more of independent and low-impact productions. So we look forward to seeing additional details on that, as well as many others. But as Vice President Chavez mentioned, yes, I think there could be better coordination about a lot of the impact that we're seeing in terms of the workforce element as well. So there is a lot of work to do. So just wanted to make sure that it is a team effort, and there's a lot happening behind the scenes. So thank you all for your support on that. Yeah. Any last minute questions or comments to Film LA? All right.
Thank
Seeing
you,
none.
President King.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. I believe that concludes our items for today. Commissioners, I want to let's all give a big round of applause to Sandy. It was her first day as a presiding officer for our board meeting. Thank you so much. I know it's not easy, so thank you very much. And then our next meeting of the Board of Public Works will be on March 9th, which is Monday, 2026. The meeting now is adjourned at 11:10 a.m.